Okay, here's an updated video about this 2001 Dodge Ram 2500. I've been having some starting issues recently. I think it's a bad ground. At least I thought it was a bad ground. It appears it may be more than that, but I'm eliminating the problems one at a time. Would you look at this cable? This is a stock ground cable on the passenger side from the factory, from Dodge. The end had been replaced. Either I did that last year or a year before. I really can't remember if I did. This is a homeboy way of doing it with this type of battery terminal connector, whatever they call it. Anyway, that's a 1-gauge wire, very heavy. It goes from the battery down to the engine block, and it takes a big ass bolt that goes in there. And most of your replacement cables that you buy at auto parts stores will not bolt back on to that location because the terminal end is much smaller. All right, $91 at Dodge for that, once again. So I'm not paying $91 for a battery cable, which is ridiculous. Must be made out of gold or something. So I ended up buying this cheapo. This is a 2-gauge. It's not as thick, 2-gauge cable, and got it at AutoZone. You can probably find it someplace else. But I was originally going to splice that. They make a splice kit, but they didn't have it in stock for 1-gauge wire. That might be the best option. I don't know. Anyway, I think this is going to work. It goes around here. Get real close if the camera can zoom in on that. All right, you see I have that bolted to the side of the cylinder head with that cable. So I don't have to worry about it coming loose from the battery. We got that taken care of. All right, here's your factory positive cable that goes over to the other battery. I can only imagine how much that son of a gun is, since it's about 4.5, 5 feet long. All right, that there looks a little boogered up, but it's working. I'm not having any issues with that. Last year or the year before, this other cable over here was messed up. Both these cables were messed up when I bought the truck 10 years ago, and I just tried to patch it together. Well, I bought a replacement cable here, and I believe this one is a 4-gauge wire, where, you know, once again, it's supposed to be a 1-gauge. I originally ran it down to the front of the block, found a bolt there. I could bolt it onto the block. That worked fine. But since I was upgrading this other side, I thought, let me relocate this. So what I did here when I was looking for a place to attach that battery cable is right here, where I can see the daggum thing. Yeah, I know it's blurry, sorry about that. Anyway, Cummins was nice enough to drill and tap 4 or 5 holes on the front of the cylinder head, and there's a couple more down there you can't really see because it's dark. Yeah, then that rusted, you see that one right there? Those two are so rusted I couldn't do anything with those. But this one here already had a bolt in it holding the wiring harness for the alternator, and I just took the bolt out and put a little bit longer bolt in there and ran this ground wire over there. Zip tied it to the harness for the alternator, and anyway, it'll work. That will suffice. Oops, sorry, I got the camera turned wrong again. Apologize, guys. That's why I was redoing this video. So I thought I had my problem solved. Went to start it. I let the truck idle for about 30-40 minutes while I was inside getting cleaned up to go to town to start another project. Shut the truck off, go to start it, and I'm still having starting issues. So these batteries may be dead. I know I have a good ground now. The batteries may be on their last leg. They're 5 years old. They get beat to death in this truck because it rides like a horse and buggy. It just rides terrible. When we have a load on it, it's not too bad. So anyway, let me see if it'll start this time, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Hold the camera out here and let you hear the engine. Well, maybe into a liar. It started right up that time. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's either the starter. It's not a ground. If it's ground, it wouldn't start. All right, this video's going on long enough, but I was just bragging about this truck having 300,000 miles on it, and it's been trouble-free, really, the whole time I've had it. But now I've got some kind of starting issue here. Usually the starter will just click, 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 click. So I'm going to run to town, get these batteries tested, and hopefully that's my problem. If not, we'll have to dig deeper. Stay tuned.